Here we go. Test,
One
test.
is waiting, and that's me.
All right. I can hear you still good. You can hear me. Everything's good. I am so sorry, everyone.
Test, test, test.
Hello. Sorry
Right,
about
that's all
that.
good.
You guys can all hear me now, and I can hear Lemons again. So I think we're all good. Okay, yeah, we'll get back up on the gold chart. Let me throw up gold and
Yeah, let's do
okay.
it.
Gold 15 minute. Give me the New York time of the trade and I'll put it there.
The New York Times, just basically the breakout of the first candle, the first 4 hour candle of the week.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got it. Like
like
that
sometimes you'll get a good trade out of it. Like for instance, if you had done the same thing on the previous week, you wouldn't have lost, but you would have been doing nothing for the whole week. It would have just consolidated for the week. But the previous week, again, you would have made money off that.
let
If you had
me
just taken the high and low off the first candle.
okay, let me share my screen with you again and we'll get everything
Is
back.
this you, Tommy, now making music, or are you using Bear to make podcasts or voicings?
All right, here we
What
go.
do you mean?
I'm throwing us up.
Oh. I've
Someone's
used
busted.
a different. That's that is. I am making a bit of music. I haven't actually put any music on the channel yet, Maxi, but I must have accidentally left my a channel on rather than being me, if you know what I mean.
All right, here we go.
Look, that's a super cheap plug right there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, I
I
have the
can't
chart
see
up.
your screen on Discord, by the way.
You cannot?
This is where it all went wrong last time.
Yeah. Let me check. It's not showing you my screen right now.
Not on Discord.
Let me try one more
I
time.
can see YouTube, but the YouTube has a delay.
Now? Can you see it now?
There we go. Yeah, I
Okay.
should be able
Whew,
to. There it is.
whew,
All
okay.
right, we're good.
All right. Sorry about
All this trouble, and all I'm gonna say is I took a breakout trade
that.
on, and it's like really nothing to write home about. But it was a 2.5. I made some money. I'm no longer down on the year.
Was it
So
when it broke out of that range right there? Or
when it broke the top, yeah. And on my screen, so I use a broker, Oanda, that shows the gap. Um,
oh,
whereas you seem to have a big old candle as the opening candle,
yeah,
whereas
yeah.
mine
Oh, I
mine
see.
mine shows the gap.
This
Yeah, you
is
know what I
the
mean.
breakout. Yeah.
Yeah, if you look at Oanda, for
Yeah,
instance,
I got it on there now.
there you go. So
Is it I think there's a delay or something. Are you on the Discord?
yeah, so there's a big old gap, and basically, I've done a lot, or I've done 14 years worth of back testing on this, and the first candle, there's a 20% chance that if you the high or the low is the high or low of the week. And if, for instance, we get to Monday, which is the time of the trade, which is 2100 hours New York time on Monday, there is a 50. Let me get up my data again. There is a 55.02% chance that the low or the high has already been made for the week. So my
Oh,
assumption is when obviously that high in the opening candle got taken, then that low will obviously now be the low of the week.
this low right here.
The low right at the start of the week. Basically the opening price.
Got you.
Yeah. So So yeah, I took a breakout, put the stop loss at the lows, the opening candle lows, and then went for a 2.5,
What
which
what made you target 2.5? Is that part of the testing that like it goes generally 2.5 times as far?
uh, that is just testing that, because usually I'd actually go for a 2.2, but
Mm-mm.
I just um, it happened to just race away at the time, and the 2.2 was very close to the 2.5,
Oh yeah,
and
that
I
makes
didn't have
sense.
like yeah.
No, I was just curious. I was just curious if
Um,
there was like a reason.
no, no. I haven't. So generally, with the take profit for this particular AU strategy, it's more on. I have a back test on the probability of when, if the low is set at a certain time, I have a probability of when the other high is set. You know, what time of the week
Mm-hmm.
it's set, which is generally is on the Thursday. But actually, there is a very also. This is one of the reasons why I really have liked gold.
Does this mean
There is a
if you were in a trade and you were holding a trade with this setup or something and the week was getting ready to end, you to close your trade out no matter what because the new week would reset the concept or
yeah. I've never held a trade over a
weekends?
weekend with this strategy. Yeah. Um, so yeah, there is an 11% chance that the second high or second high low of the week, if it's a low, if the low is at the beginning of the week, then the high is at the end of the week. There's a 11% chance that it will happen on Friday at 1300 hours New York. There's a 12.63% chance that it happens at 1700 hours, which is very high. Like if you put them together, like gold is actually like the amount of times, like it's the amount of times that the second high low happens on the last day of the week is 36.84%,
Dang.
which is pretty cool. Like
Yeah, yeah.
there's not many like forex pairs, indices, or anything like that where it's that higher probability. Um, yeah, it's pretty crazy. So yeah, so that's why I have I don't necessarily have a like a take profit. Like my take profit wasn't set. You know what I mean? Usually I would wait a little bit longer because the so when it hit my take profit, it was Tuesday at 2000 hours. So the actual probability that there's only two times in the last 14 years that has been the opposing high or low of the week when the Sunday candle has been the first high low of the week. Does that make sense?
Hold on, wrapping my brain around that last the last. So when the
So
Sunday,
the amount of times
so
that
let me do this.
the Sunday has been uh, over the last 14 years is 95 times. Okay, that the Sunday candle has been the high or low of the week. Doesn't
Okay.
matter if it's the high or the low.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is it's the first.
Yeah, yeah.
So in this case, the low of the week
Oh, yeah, yeah.
um, so far. Now, what I've done is I've looked into those 95 times, and hopefully it'll be 96, uh, and looked at when the other, you know, extreme point is set for the week.
Uh-huh.
And that the time that I exited the trade, it only happened two times in the last 95 times. That makes sense?
So where you exited the trade was a so far two
A
and
low
95
probability, and
chance. Yeah,
I probably should have
yeah,
held, but I
yeah.
didn't. Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
I
Okay, nice.
probably should have held the first point that it creeps up a little bit higher is the Wednesday at 1300 hours. There's a 8% chance, so 8 times it's happened during that time. And then as we get close to the end of the week, it creeps up a bit more. Not 8 times eight, not 8%, 8 times it's happened. So yeah, that's the data that I have on it, and yeah, probably should have held that trade a little bit longer, but I didn't.
Yeah. I mean, it happens. It's all good.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
very parabolic, man. It was really nice.
Oh, it was pretty crazy. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't really expecting that, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Pure
Gold,
gold.
gold is just ripping and ripping and ripping. Like, I remember what
Yeah,
was it, a few weeks ago we were saying I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if we hit that 5,500. I mean, that's I'm just starting to feel
yeah,
more and more like that's a possibility. Holy
yeah,
freaking
yeah.
heck.
It's crazy. It
Yeah.
also, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? You
Yeah.
know, gold being the safe haven of the.
Yeah. I guess
I
it's
wonder why people are doing that. I
yeah.
wonder. I wonder what the reasons are.
Yeah.
One can only guess.
Someone's about to get really, really, really rich selling off their gold position someday in the near future. That's for dang sure. Um,
So I would say I wanted to start our live somewhere, but we're kind of like
oh yeah, we're halfway into it.
World War III looming, and
Yeah.
gold is up. Who would have thought? So I got a message from someone this week, and it's a very like worded differently, but generally I get a handful of these types of questions um, from generally from new traders.
Mm.
Uh, this person who messaged me, they started off, they started a strategy, and then they had some time off, and they've come back and they've asked me, what is what strategy is what TTF strategy is good for the
Hey,
Asia session. Due
I
to
have an
time
idea.
differences, that's the best.
I will say I have an idea.
Say again.
I'll ask you the question, and you can answer it to me. I'll ask the
Okay.
question. Okay, ready?
Okay.
Okay. So one, what would be a good trade for strat for the Asian session? Due to the current time differences, this is the best session for me, but I can't catch the early UK session. Oh, but I can catch the early UK
She
session.
can, yeah,
Yeah.
or he. I don't know. It's a picture, but I don't know if it's a he or she. So that I don't know how often do you get that question quite often? Like, what is the best strategy, or what is a good strategy for
Y
this session
yes.
or
Yes.
this? Yeah,
That is a common
and
question. Yeah.
and really there is no right answer for this. So it really just comes down to. So, for instance, they later mentioned that they're not a fan of ICT. Now, me personally, I half learnt trading through ICT and through Bear and Jay and Christy, and kind of meshed all that together. So for me, ICT is kind of my bread and butter for certain things, for certain terminology. But really, when it comes down to it, you can make money in any session using a strategy. Like almost all the strategies are good for making money, provided that you have the right risk management and you have the right plan in place. Like, and you just need to plan for your shortcomings, whether that be that you know you have certain mindset issues that you need to work on. You need to have that planned for, and you just need to find something that works with your mindset.
Hmm.
Anything you want to add? Like, I think like you've looked at the US NAS using this strategy,
Mm-hmm.
and you've adjusted it to your style of trading, and it works for you.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because your risk management is good, and you have a plan in place.
Yeah, that's the key thing is you're betting on a pattern in the market, and what trips up a trader is not following plan or not risking consistently. Because just like Warren Buffett's famous words, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you lose. If you prevent yourself from losing capital, you only have capital gain. So risk management is actually probably the most important thing. As Jay likes to
Yeah,
say, defense wins championships. That's super true. It's true in every sport. I've just
100%.
recently started a pool league, and you guys have no idea how true it is that defense is like the king of the game. And I think that's always true, is that big riskers, gamblers, are willing to take a blow up to get a big blowout, and it's not worth it because a blow up resets you and playing it safe. So all that to say that risk management is the most important part. Being consistent, finding one thing that jives with you. It has to be something that you're like, that makes sense. Like I trade the way that I do, not because it's the best strategy. In fact, I have a very low win rate, and a lot of people can't handle that. Um, I do it because it's this system that makes the most sense to me logically. Do whatever feels right for you and then stick to it consistently and use proper risk management and you will absolutely come out on top. I truly believe. Like prove me wrong. Show me all your data and everything and prove me wrong if you don't believe me.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead.
The next question, like, are there any new or even older indicators, um, coming alterations on the new ones? Is basically like that's not something I'm privy to. Uh, uh, and then in the past, she did well. He did well on DeLorean and felt like they gelled with it, which I think that's gelling with an indicator or a strategy is kind of where you want to start, and you just want to keep on, you know, stress testing this strategy like in a certain way. And you can have like I've had strategies that I've stress tested in the sense that certain strategies where do I take the breakout, do I take a retest, do I have my stop loss at the low of a recent high, do I use a anchored VWAP and use one of the lines on my standard deviation where I put my stop loss there and my take profit here. So it's just about getting that gel and finding that plan. And again, it's just like saying a broken record. You just have to stress test this certain way to find out whether it gels with you. Delory and I actually did a whole uh, couple of, I would say, 4 or 5 videos on DeLorean at the end of 2024. 2026. We've been doing this for a while now, Jezza.
Yeah, yes. Holy moly. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, there's a whole. I actually try to use because I don't really use too many indicators when it comes to trading. So I try to use indicators that. Well, when I say like indicators on TradingView, I use Fibonacci's. I use premium and discount zones and all that sort of stuff. So I tried to make some uh, indicators that would best uh, explain my style of trading and that was much more objective so that a new person could come in and go, okay, well, this is the objective
Mm-hmm.
way that he draws out. We had a fib, kind of a fib tool on the price action indicator the TTF brought out. And then I just used rules like when it retraced back into that fib indicator, and then we got a DeLorean signal. Very simple. I just entered the trade. I put my stop loss on a standard deviation of the anchored VWAP, which I explained where I put it. And then I just went for a 2.5. And that in 2024, when I did the back testing, it actually performed very well. I don't know whether it will continue to perform very well, but you can go back and watch that. and look at it and see whether it performs. I did it over, I think, a course of 100 trades, and it performed very well. I think I posted it on in DeLorean chat, so you can go back and have a look at that. Just search my name in DeLorean. It's very easy to do, and I don't post very often in the DeLorean chat, so it should be fairly easy to find. Um, and that's it. She said she's not a fan of ICT, but I don't know how you feel about this, but everything is everything. You know what I mean? Do you understand what I mean when I say that, Jezza?
Yeah, I'm
Like
gonna.
if you're looking at sort of like ICT, they call it a market structure shift. What do they call it in SMC? A shock
Yes.
or
Yeah.
yeah.
Shock. Yeah.
Price action, they can call it a head and shoulders, a certain head and shoulders pattern, and it's just people will use certain names for things that have been named for years and years and years, and nothing is new except for the Hong Kong gap, which is my creation, but that's a Lemon secret, which is not. But I did make a video on that a couple of years ago. But yeah, there's nothing new under the sun. I actually
Yeah.
made a song this last couple of weeks called "Nothing's Original," uh, and yeah,
I,
maybe I'll stick that on one of my channel.
that's hilarious. I
So yeah, that's mainly kind of all I really wanted to say. Like when you find something that you gel with, then just keep at it. Like there's no the only time you fail with something is when you stop using it. You'll you know yeah, I don't know how much more sort of we can kind of explain that particular
yeah.
thing. It's always hard when people come in and they want to know what is the best, because usually, in anything there's always usually a best something. When let's just say, what's the best exercise for body weight, chest muscles. Oh well, that's a push-up. You want to do push-ups, and so yeah, people do push-ups to do to
I
get the to get
I
their chest popping.
I think people forget. So here's the main problem I think that a lot of you newer traders have when it comes to trading. It's simple that you guys forget what you're doing as a business. And so stuff that conventionally applies to things like that, like there's a best workout or a best strategy in a video game or a best um, item that you can use for a thing or a best mm, way to deliver something or so on and so forth. When it comes to business, that's not true. There's no best way to run a business because imagine um, you live in I don't know, like a food deserty area that doesn't have any restaurants and only has a couple local marts. You probably have a huge opportunity to open like a food truck and be like a little mobile restaurant. But then you go down to like, I don't know, downtown Portland where there's food trucks in every corner or whatever, and all of a sudden that business doesn't work anymore. So it's situational, and that's true of trading too. You are running a business and you live in a different time zone with a different lifestyle and a different mindset and look at the charts a different way than anybody else. So getting a baseline is important. It's really cool to have us to give you a strategy and to have a baseline and find something that makes sense to you. And speaking of that, I do want to touch base on the indicator thing. One of the questions was, are there any new TTF strats coming out or alterations? I can't speak for anyone else, but I do know that here at the trade floor, Jay and Bear are both obsessed with data, and they will always try to tweak things and maximize their efficiency. And Christy's always trying to find new ways to make it easy for new traders. So I do believe there will always be new iterations of their indicators that are going to be quote unquote better or have better stats or whatever, or maybe manage things easier or whatever with as technologies get better and stuff like that. But that being said, that's true of the newest traders. As you come in and you're
Yeah,
brand new, that gives you a better starting place than like, we had in the
yeah,
past, just like there's better tech. But you still have to um, cross the finish line and do your testing and do all the hard work. And that's the important part is
yeah,
treating it like a business, doing the hard work, journaling, getting a strategy that jives with you and sticking to it and stop being afraid of the
yeah.
losses that come with it.
And that thing about how I said I tested out the DeLorean a certain way to try and mimic my style of trading. Like I will do that sort of stuff because I want, you know, for other people to have that kind of light bulb moment. It's like, oh yeah, I understand. This is something that I can understand. Whereas right at the beginning, um, when I had that kind of light bulb moment, it's like, oh, great. There's kangaroos on my screen, and if it's below the charts, I need to buy, and if it's above the charts, I need to sell. Oh, I understand this. That's pretty cool. And it worked for a little while, and I understood it. And you kind of go, right, okay, perfect, simple, and I can understand that. Like I try and test out as much as I can, but I'll only do like I did 100 trades. I'm not going to do like years and years and years because I already have a tried and tested way that I can make money from the markets.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, like I say, I'm not gonna go crazy with like doing years and years and years and years of testing unless I can get something that I can easily get AI to do, which is pretty hard to do with the type of prompts. But yeah, I mean, hopefully there's so many different strategies. I think he Alex did one. I think at the big either I think it was the beginning of last year. He did one uh, on DeLorean as well, and I never tested it out myself, but it looked pretty good. It was one of those things like, yep, that makes sense.
Hmm.
That looked like it would work, and yeah, so I think it was again based on years and years and years worth of data. So
Yeah,
you
I
can't
mean,
you can't
that's the
argue with you can't
yeah,
argue with data. So
yeah. And that's the cool
look at
thing is you
him.
can use that data to give you a great starting point, but the the dark true side of it is that even if you have, I don't know, an 80% win rate strategy and we have like all the data to prove that's 80%, that 20% that you're hitting losses, you're going to feel uncomfortable and switch it up and it causes problems
Hmm.
because it's a lack of consistency that causes it. And if you have that same mindset and the strategy is only 50%, you'll be more successful. Like understanding that those losses are going to come, take them on the chin and get used to that so that loss aversion doesn't mess you up. Um, so that kind of is a good segue into what our main topic is supposed to be today, and that's trading habits. Um, and
Oh right,
the main,
that's what we were going to be talking about. That's right.
yeah, that's 45 minutes in, we will start discussing trading habits. Um,
We know how to beat around a good bush.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, stop laughing.
Um, the number one important thing is um honestly, journaling. Like, it's the most boring thing in the world. It is at first. Well, in my opinion, it's not that boring nowadays because there's software to help that out. I know that's a premium thing, and I'm not saying for everybody, if you don't have access to that, you got to do the hard work and journal one way or another. There's lots of free, I think Notion has free accounts and stuff like that you can use to do different kinds of journaling and stuff. But um, I use, a premium journaling software and I love it. Like you put your screenshot in, you type up what you need to do or whatever, and it journals in, and it keeps more data for you than you even have to yourself. It's really useful. I recommend it. But anyway, you need to journal because if you don't have, again, back to the business, if you don't have a business model, how are you going to get any investor, right? You want capital, even yourself. How are you going to invest in yourself? At what level of money are you gambling? You know what I mean? Like if you have no business model, how are you going to get anybody to invest in that? And if you can't get anybody else to invest in it, you shouldn't invest your capital in it either. That's dangerous, right? You need a business model, and in this case, that means a trading plan. You have to have, and I've shown mine many times to you guys so that you understand that I do a structured thing. I'm looking for a liquidity sweep with a trend, like a lower time frame liquidity sweep that goes against the higher time frame trend and catches it back into place, right? So like for example, I want the 15-minute to be coming down, right, while the 4 hour is in an uptrend. And on the 4 hour, it looks like a pullback, right? And then we'll continue the trend. That's the kind of trade I like. And what I look for is a strong liquidity sweep, which right now I have a markup right here of a liquidity sweep. I would either direction actually, I wouldn't mind. seeing here. But um, I stick to the same thing every time. I look for a sweep, and then I patiently try to wait for the market to either do or don't do it, and then I'll go to sleep without it. Flip and close at the point that it liquidates, and I do that over and over and over and over. I don't think it's the best strategy, but I understand it and I stick to it, right? And so I only understand that that specific set of rules works because I did that specific set of rules over and over and over and over and did my testing at the times that I like to trade and the assets that I like to trade and made sure that I got enough reward that when I lose, which happens often because I do really tight zones because I'm looking at these small flip zones, um, it pays for those losses. And I did the testing on that and got comfortable enough to like trade that with my actual capital and things like that. And you cannot get that level of comfortability unless you have some kind of data to back it up. You don't know what you're doing. Every loss feels like, could that have been changed? Did I follow my rules? You need that checklist basically, and that's really important. So that's the number one thing. Do you wanna I don't know, backpack on the journaling at all before talk about any other habits?
I think much like anything in trading, it needs to be very specific to you and your mindset. So if you don't like the stereotypical, I am thinking more along the lines of your mindset, journaling. I don't think there's too many different ways that you can journal your actual trades. But when it comes to mindset,
Mm-hmm.
um, the thing that helped me, especially when actually I realized that it helped after I started live streaming and doing live trades on for the community, that kept me super honest. So I have recordings. I don't necessarily record my face or anything like that, but like voice recordings whilst I'm on the charts. It's like, this is the trade that I am about to take. This is why I'm about to take it. This is how I'm feeling, and I'm in the trade, and then that'll be it. And as I've mentioned before, I don't stick around when I'm trading. I generally go off and do something else. And then if I feel like I need to, uh, when I am finished with the trade, whether I've lost or won, if I feel like my mental state is something that I need to take note of, I will record that as well. Um, and then I have a nice 1 terabyte hard drive, which I move those files over and keep that along with my lives that I do. So you just got to find ways that you think will work for you, that you think that you're able to keep continuously doing that. And you
I
need to have these kind of say that.
So I was just gonna
Yeah,
say my little technique that I use, and because I have a Darwin X, which is like a public track record, I never have to show anyone my journal, so I have some pretty intimate notes. But I will type in my notes right here on the chart, like how I was feeling. Like I would be like feeling down about breakup earlier today, like some real personal thing or something like that. Lost first.
Jagalaga goes.
Yeah,
Oh, there
lost
we go. I
first
can see. I
trade.
can see. There we go.
Yeah, lost first trade or whatever, and I'd have a little asterisk in between each point or whatever. But it would be, got frustrated and wanted revenge. And I have little notes to remind myself, just enough key points to bring up the memory of like when I
Yeah,
was typing it up. And that really always helped me. I love that. So when I
yeah.
look at my screenshots, I have my notes right there on them.
Because you're labeling that emotion as well, and once you've labeled something, like when you've labeled that emotion, it becomes so much easier to handle it.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't really have much more to say on regards to journaling.
The okay, the other big habit. I would argue they're both equally the biggest quote unquote bad habits: lack of journaling and strat hopping. The next one is strat hopping, and we're just talking to uh or about someone who's looking into different strategies and what's the best and all that. And this kind of leads back to the idea of strat hopping. And so
Yeah,
basically, the most common way I see strat hopping happen is when losses occur, right? Especially the first time. Especially if a strat works the first couple times and you get like euphoric about it when you see a profit in the account, whatever, whether it's demo or live or what. And then you get your first few losses, a chain of losses, sometimes enough to add up to more than what you won. And then that's when tilt happens. And people go, well, excuse my language, but screw this. And I'm gonna jump onto something else. I'm gonna look at something else. Or you're sitting there, pumping out your 2 Rs maybe a couple times a week, and you're like, oh, right on, I made 4R this week, and someone pops in Discord and goes, oh, look, I made 11R today, or something like that, with either a whole bunch of 3Rs in a row or one big chunky trade. And you're like, ooh, I want to take a look at what they're doing. I want to do that. I like that. It looks better than what I'm doing. And then especially if you don't journal, this is like the most critical, worst thing to possibly do because now you temporarily switch to a new strategy and you're looking at new sets of criteria and that gets in your brain. And if it doesn't work and you try to abandon back to your original strategy and you don't have any data to back it up, you can get yourself real confused real fast with conflicting information. So um, that's really dangerous. And so think about it like this. If you have a strategy that's, I don't know, 50-50, that means there's a sequence chance that 50 losses can come in a row out of a sequence of 100, right? Um, well, imagine that you have two strategies that are 50-50 and you risk 1% per. So even in the worst possible case scenario, you still have half your account to recover, right? It take a long time that way, but worst case scenario. But now you mixed two strategies and this other strategy has a 50-50 win rate and you roll that same terrible probability on the second one and now you just blew your whole account, right? Because you're compounding the loss potential on both of these strategies. And you got to think about that when you strat hop. Like you're not, whatever the results of the new strategy are, you're mixing them as you just jump from strategy to strategy. And you can be in
yeah,
sequence of losses in a row. There's no way to
yeah,
guarantee where the trade sequences are going to be. And you're, again, back to the idea that risk is more important than reward. You're exposing yourself to unlimited risk. And that means you're never going to be profitable at that rate, at
yeah.
unlimited risk.
There's also definitely strat hopping within a strategy that I tend to see as well. So people will uh, backtest a certain type of strategy. Let's just say, for instance, you are backtesting Outback and you're waiting for your kangaroo, and you have backtested kangaroo, breakout, retest, then breakout, and then taking it on the second breakout.
Mm.
You backtested it, you have, let's just say, 55% win rate, and then you start doing well, and then you get your losses, like you were saying, and then you kind of go, oh, you get enough losses that you kind of go, oh yeah, this is not great. Maybe I'll just do a breakout and get in on the retest because that retest will allow me to get in and out the market quicker.
Hmm.
And so they will, without backtesting it, just tweak their. That's a little. I mean, that doesn't sound like much, does it? Like that little tweak, they just missed out the second retest, but you haven't backtested it. So the times that possibly the times when you had that outback signal and it's gone broken up and just gone straight back down and gone through and gone the other way. You haven't accounted for that. You don't know how many times that has happened. You've probably just seen it happen one or two times in a recent memory, and it's just kind of gone. Oh yeah, recency bias is was strong with this one, so I think I'll just do that. Um, that that is one of the reasons why when I was sort of explaining at the start, you have to trade a really specific way, and it has to be Also, when you're learning, it has to be I think it really needs to be really objective. You can't have subjectivity in your trading when you're learning.
Yep,
I
your
think
subjectivity is
you have
100%
to be
right.
a very specific type of person, which I think a lot of people are not, because we all have flaws, and we're all sort of at the mercy of greed and fear,
Hmm.
um, so often. So one thing I'll say is that
Oh, it's good. Yeah,
helpful is changing your
I
perspective
was
of
gonna
trading.
quote him on this.
It
Yeah.
is not a sprint. It is essentially a return to university for an economics degree. It is a massive change in your life. That takes time to pursue. We have tool like Earn as You Learn that help ease the pain, but the largest factor for people failing is unrealistic expectations or bad perspective of the situation. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I
agreed.
completely agree with that.
Agreed.
Um,
We've
this whole sort of learning, it's a spiral. It's not a straight line. It's not linear. I think most people, when they do this, with a lot of habits, I think most people kind of fail 3 or 4 times before they actually feel like they have some sort of momentum going in the right direction. Um,
I
so
will
it's all about having those if-then kind of strategies in place.
I will
If
say
this happens, then this happens. Would you say, Jezza?
I was gonna say I will say we as in like you, me, Bear, um Christy seems like it, but I don't know her personality type. Maybe she was different and the other kind of trader. But I was gonna say Jay and Alex even. A lot of us are kind of lucky in that we had an obsession with this. Like it wasn't. I don't. As far as at least talking to all you guys, I didn't get a sense that. I mean, for all of us, it was a little bit about the money in that we wanted our own self-sustainability, but all of us had like kind of a deep obsession with this market thing in general already, like the understanding and unwinding of it. And I think that to some degree is an advantage, like the predisposition to love doing this um, is an advantage. So for those of you that like inherently do find it boring and are just doing this for the money, you are going to have a harder time, right? Because you're training your brain to do something you don't even like to do. I wouldn't even recommend it to people, honestly, that don't like it. But um, that being said, I know a lot of people want to do it because they think it can make money. But what Bear said is right. We've talked about this in previous lives, actually, where I would say you wouldn't trust somebody who just watched a 30-minute YouTube video on medical training to like take a scalpel to you and do surgery. So, oh no, I lost audio again. Uh-oh. I don't hear lemons. Can you guys hear me?
Test, test, test.
Oh, I hear you now.
Yeah,
Okay, what did you guys
I
hear
just
me?
wasn't speaking. What you talking about, bro?
I'm dumb. I was just I switched over to the YouTube thing and I saw your mouth moving and no sound, but it's the delay. I'm so sorry.
We're professionals, guys.
Yeah. Well, that's
Professional
okay.
professional YouTubers right here.
That was a good time to cut off my rant. I get passionate and rant about that stuff. But okay, cool.
Catchy tune. I love that name. Um, yeah. So where were you before you
Oh, I was saying
interrupted yourself?
you wouldn't trust somebody to take a scalpel to you or do some surgery on you from watching like a 30-minute or even a day worth of YouTube videos on surgery or whatever. So it's like trading's like that too. You're learning a new skill and it's a very low success rate skill. Now, I think it's over dramatized, the low success rate, because the people that fail on it are like people that go, oh, I'm gonna day trade because my friend does it and I'm gonna throw some money in a brokerage account and try to do
Yeah.
something and blow some money.
It's
Like,
I'll try that.
yeah,
They probably have these kind of people that tried it for a day. They signed up to a broker account
blew
and
some
they
money,
went,
blew an account.
I don't
Yeah.
fancy it, and then never came
Yeah.
back.
Or
And
the
that's you're just a statistic.
yeah. And that's the thing is it like for the people that And the trade floor is proof of this, honestly. At least using our strategy wars, which we have a bunch of people post actual data of their actual trades. Um, we have a huge, like, it was well over 30%. If I don't quote me on this in case I'm wrong, but I think it was over 30% were profitable or something like
Every
that.
single time, I believe, every time we've had a strategy wars, it's been in the high 20s or even 30%.
Yeah, see that's so much that you hear the stat thrown around like 5% or something like that. Guys, that's 6 times that. So
Yeah,
if you put some effort into it, plus I mean I'm not gonna lie, price versus like what the community offers you, like best community on the internet. We got it's everyone there's kind. They're really there to help you. We're all transparent and honest and open, and we talk to each other, and we're friendly and we're positive. We aren't trying to put anybody down. There's
somewhat
nobody
friendly.
better. I would say the people that are literally part of the trade floor are all very friendly. But yeah, I mean, you got butt heads everywhere. In general, it's a really great community though, and you'll feel comfortable there, and there's no judgment. There's rooms specifically for mindset, and it's a good place to be. I love being here.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I was catching
Beauty.
up on
Well,
questions.
it's 8 p.m. here. I know that we were 3 minutes late, and then a further hiccup.
Yeah, yeah, we're coming up on time. Um, we did.
Are there are there any questions, by the way? Does anyone have any markets that they want us to look at real quick? Next week, I want to get into the trans theoretical model, which is has the stages of pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action,
Mm,
maintenance, and termination when it comes to habit forming. So if anyone has any questions on that, feel free to give me a shout in mindset. But yeah, I'll want to talk especially about a few of those stages next week, and why a lot of people get stuck in certain stages or jump ahead to other stages a bit too early, and what to do about that. Is there anything you want to talk? When you guys say earn as you learn can work as a bias, how would you backtest it? You don't really need to
it's
backtest
it's
the earn as you learn because it's
there's
been
already a
done
bit back.
for
Yeah,
you.
there's backtest data
Yeah,
up.
there's like, hey
You
guys,
can
did you talk about DAX?
if well if it's for
Hey
your own
Jezza, what
compass. I was gonna say you
shall we?
can match that data and go backtest yourself and just match it one for one until you get
Yeah,
comfortable
because
with it.
you'll find from what I know, especially with the one strategy and two, I think that you can find better entries on that particular strategy as well. Do you want to? You would scroll the channel and look at the trade ideas and direction.
Oh,
Says
okay,
Bear.
okay. That it like literally using it as a bias. I see if that's the question. I see what you're saying. Not as like a backtest bias, but like for the daily actual bias. Yeah, it literally
Oh
has
yeah,
the trade ideas with their explanation and their direction for you, and you that would
yeah,
be the bias if you wanted to use that for your bias.
correct. Jose or Jose, depending on what whereabouts in the world he's from, says, "Did you talk about DAX? So
We
do you want
didn't,
to
but look,
pop up DAX
we
before?
may. Yeah, let's
Let's
do
do
that.
it. It's been a hot minute since I've looked at DAX,
I haven't
but I
been using it.
always really like DAX.
What's it called on Oanda?
I'm not sure what on Oanda is, but you
Dirty
can put
stuff.
in
I'll just
German 40, Gur 40.
That's yeah. Okay, I'll do that. I think
I
that
don't know
gives
if
me
it's
4x, but that's fine. It don't matter. It's all the same. Okay. Um, how do you want me to do like a top-down analysis the way I would, or how we?
well, especially it's pretty like DAX is looking pretty nice at the moment, actually.
We got a bullish daily breakout, potential pullback. Um, So,
Daily breakout. Yep.
yep, on the daily, we got the
You already said
breakout
that, didn't you? Yep.
pulling out. Yep, we got the 4 hour. So let me throw a fib up from the original. When it broke that high over here, made a new high all the way up here. So it's potentially in the retracement phase. On the 4 hour, it's retraced down to the demand. This demand may or may not hold. For the total trend, it still has plenty of room, and this demand. I think that given the way it's compressed and then broke out over here, I could see it retracing that far. So I'd kind of take a wait and see on the 15-minute. You could look for some strong liquidity to get liquidated over here. So not counting this yet until it liquidates that. If it liquidates that, then you can have a bullish trigger. But right now, I would want to see a low, a strong low get taken and then flipped for a bullish move. Bearish move's already ready to go. You're just looking for it to come up into supply that is either above strong liquidity, so like potentially taking a sell off of this zone right here because it's right above liquidity, or having it liquidate something and then flip for you and giving you that confirmation entry at any point is cool on the bearish side until it liquidates this point. Then I'd be very wary of taking a sell. I mean, I do think it could come all the way down here, but I'd be careful of it. It's just
So yeah, that's my sort of thought. When it's this, you've got that big impulse move down, and then a second impulse move down. Would you take that sell if it came up and took that liquidity there?
like right here or this one that I first talked about. What I
The
think
first
this.
one.
Um,
Yeah.
Let me. Well, first I need some kind of other like total market like confluence. So take at least this little move right here and take a look at that.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that's actually reasonable. I would not take a risk entry, the first type that I mentioned, where like you have an entry here using that liquidity, but I would absolutely take a confirmation entry. So if it came up and liquidated this and then closed below the liquidation point, I wouldn't mind getting it on a sell. I'd be careful about how far I'm aiming though. This is potential bullish territory. Like he was alluding to, it could have been just absorbing all this liquidity, exhausted at this point, absorbed this deep
Hmm.
demand right here and flipping. It's just the way I look at the markets. Well, also I'm looking at it from the perspective of Forex. This is an index. Well, let me.
Do you have different opinions on the first flip when it comes to index as opposed to forex?
Um, no, you need less liquidity to move an index. So, for example, on a
Yeah.
Forex, I would say like I need this to get liquidated to be interested. Like I wouldn't even be interested in bullish movement yet on Forex. But with an index, all of this liquidity right here into this deep impulse that needed filled in the first place could be enough. I mean, that's a lot of liquidity in this area. I mean, and it really did a full-on flip over on all that liquidity and was stopped immediately in this demand zone turnaround. So what I want to see is like a classic thing, like something like this. It's fine for me for a bullish move actually. Coming down here, even though it didn't make new strong liquidity, it's good enough. Comes down here and liquidates that, filling the rest of this, and then showing me that the intention might be bullish now. Now I'm good to go for a while. Or, as I said, it creates strong liquidity. So if this gets taken out and closed above here, it kind of creates this new strong liquidity, especially if it eventually closes above there. If it sweeps that and flips,
Hmm. Yeah.
I'm definitely good to go. That to me, how do I stop this? Okay. If it takes strong liquidity on the 15-minute chart and then flips it immediately and continues bullish, that shows me that we could have a 4 hour continuation, and that's where I'd target the 4 hour high if I could get in. Um, I just am really not confident, especially Forex. Like I said, this isn't Forex, so it's more likely, but I'm not confident without any strong liquidity clearly taken up on the smaller time frame that the higher time frame will continue the move all the way. So for it to actually be a high targeting move, I want some kind of strong liquidity. So I'm actually more inclined um, to absorb that move down here if it comes up that way from here. Like if no strong liquidity gets taken and it keeps coming up and it sweeps this and fills this, I'm more inclined to take that move down than I am to take a move up.
Yeah.
Just in
Right.
that case. Does that make sense to everyone? But it's kind of in a wait and see spot right now, is kind of where it is.
Yeah.
Wait and see.
I'm currently on that drop. TP set for that support down there. I hope it gets there. So far, it's looking good.
TP right here at this support or down here.
Just below it, I guess.
Nice. I think that it's more likely to continue in this direction and take this liquidity out down here at least. This is what I really want to see before I'm at all interested in bullish movement right now, unless we get a change over on the right. But you guys know what I'm saying. I really want
I
to see that.
assume, Pat, you took the breakout of the London or the DAX Open.
Where was the DAX open? That was right here, right?
Oh, slightly above the support. Okay.
This was the open, right? When it came up here and revisited, filled that. Am I right? Or
-9, -5. Yep,
okay, yeah.
correct.
Cool, cool. Yeah. And that created a high point for the session too. I think you got a pretty good shot of hitting your TP, but we'll see. We'll see. Nice, man.
Yeah.
It's definitely more bearish on the short term. It's just at a point where I would, don't quote me on this, anybody, but it's just like for a risk call right here, I'd say the first point that it's likely to maybe go bullish would be right in here, underneath that liquidity. Although I feel like this is an even better spot for it. Let's see what that looks like. Look at that, right in the golden zone. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, I hope that's a good analysis of DAX. Anything else before we sign out for the day? Let me check the questions.
No, I'm pretty happy with that. Nice little break and retest.
Nice. Well, good luck. I'm not gonna be back in. I'm about to go to sleep, so I got my loss for the day, and I'm good.
I'm about to go and cook some salmon. Salmon and broccoli.
Sounds good, man. I had beef and zucchini today, so similar but a little
Ooh,
less healthy, but it was delicious.
zucchini.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize you guys called it zucchini over there as well.
Yeah.
How very Italian of you.
Right, yeah, yeah. The Italian Alaskan of us. Delicious though. Alrighty, y'all. Okay, enjoy your salmon. I'm gonna sign out for the day, guys. I hope you guys learned something, and we'll catch you guys next week as we talk about those processes.
Beauty. Catch you later.